As we come to the close of the city's deadliest year in certain terms, we are getting an up-close look at the work IMPD officers are doing in one of the city's most dangerous areas.
24-Hour News 8's Brittany Lewis rode along with an IMPD officer and has more now on what she saw. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning, Nina. I rode with an officer out of IMPD's East District. We were specifically in the area near 10th and Rural. That's an area that's seen several homicides this year and many other violent crimes. Only a few minutes into the shift, and there's a call of a possible hostage situation.
325, 324. Police department, everybody's upstairs, identify yourself.
At first, no one comes when police call, but then the officer sees something move.
Show your hands. Show me your hands now. Come out now.
Turns out to be a misunderstanding between the woman and her family. A few hours later, a stolen vehicle.
We just have no idea what we're getting into, so when we do that, we typically do what's called a felony stop. We stay back by our cars, stay in cover, and order the people out.
It ends peacefully, and other than a possible break-in, it's a quiet night in an area of the city that rarely gets one of those.
Zone 20 is the smallest of the zones on East District, but we're one of the busiest.
Sonny Clark, a youth pastor for 10 years before he joined IMPD, is one of the officers who works in the area around 10th and Rural.
We have a lot of issues with. A lot of it is around the gas station. There's a lot of drug trade. There's a lot of prostitution here on 10th Street. So, you know, this area is a very violent area.
On this rare quiet night, there's time for conversation about the moments and people who stay with the officers long after the busy nights end.
There's a place I always drive by on Washington Street that a homeless lady was murdered. You know, just ask questions. How did she get there? How did she become homeless? Anybody know she was murdered besides the police?
And a chance to talk about the end of another record-breaking murder year.
You know, we hear the numbers as coming by, and for us, you know, we do see an increase, but we've seen a steady increase, so it's not necessarily out of the ordinary for us, but it is frustrating.
Especially when it comes to teens.
It just makes you sad. The youngest kid that I've had to deal with was an 8-year-old that stole a car, and he was with the wrong crowd. He was with a gangbanger. We found about who he was hanging out with, and he's already starting down that life, down that path.
A path they hope does not lead to more violence on one of those busy nights. I rode with Officer Clark for the majority of his 8-hour shift, so there's a lot of our conversation that didn't make it into this story, so I'll be posting more of our conversation in this story on wishtv.com. Ladies.
Thank you for that perspective. It is 8:07 right